A very good evening on this 5th day of November 2024. Welcome to the Uganda Catholic Television. I'm Sunday Gloria Aboch with Uctv News. To start with Parliament, opposition MPs led by their leader Joel Senyonyi have reaffirmed their stance against dissolving the Uganda Coffee Development Authority UCDA and transferring its responsibilities to the Ministry of Agriculture, Animal Industry and Fisheries. This policy shift is part of the government's rationalization of government agencies and public expenditure plan. Speaking to reporters at Parliament, Senyonyi emphasized that they will not be intimidated and called upon Ugandans to join their efforts to protecting the coffee sector.
On our platforms as members of Parliament, from the government chief whip, saying Cabinet sat and said, look, these are the instructions to members of Parliament to make sure the coffee bill passes and all these others and so on and so forth. It is not supposed to operate that way. Yes, members of Parliament belong to different opposition caucuses of their political parties. But the legislature is meant to be independent. This business of Cabinet sat and so it has issued instructions. But how? Our hope is that our colleagues, especially from the NRM, will listen a lot more to the people they represent, as opposed to the instructions coming from Cabinet. Cabinet is meant to bring proposals here in Parliament. We can choose to give them a green light, or we can choose to throw them out. And so it's important that that independence remains. So we are warning the executive, please operate within your space. Let Parliament operate independently. Two, this is not a Buganda issue, as we have seen some people try to make it. The issue of coffee is an issue of Uganda, not Buganda. So all those who are trying to divide the people of Uganda to make it seem like it is them against you, no, this is for all of us. If you look at some of the districts that produce a lot of coffee, a good number of them are not necessarily in Buganda. And I can give you examples. Kasese, Zombo, Chibale, Bundibujo, Kamuli, Chenjojo, Jinja, Sironko, Maracha, Omoro, Mayuge, Iganga, Bugweri, Buhweju, Kaliro, Masindi, Kamwenge, Kakumiro, Kanungu, Bududa, Kabarola, Nuoya, Dokolo, to mention but a few. All the districts I've mentioned and many others are not in Buganda. So it is very problematic for anyone to try and make this a Buganda issue. This is an issue of Uganda. Because coffee is a cash crop that is benefiting many districts of Uganda. So why are you trying to make it like it is a Buganda issue? It is not. Let's stop dividing the people of Uganda. And our clarion call is, as the people of Uganda, let's join and fight together, because it is about all of us and not just one particular region. Does that mean that the people of Buganda or the people of Bukisu should not come together and put up a fight? No. In fact, we are happy. We have been seeing, elders in Bukisu and elsewhere, and they are saying, speaking for ourselves, UCDA should not go. That's something that should happen. So that should continuously happen. In fact, we hope to see several other areas of Uganda coming through, as we have seen people in Buganda, in Bugisu, saying, look, we are interested in coffee too. So no one should try and divide us. The other aspect that is very imperative, this is not and should not be a partisan issue. Some people have tried to make it a fight between the opposition and the NRM. That's actually not true. Of course, does that mean that as the opposition we cannot stand up regarding issues of Uganda? That's actually our mandate as leaders in this country. But we are saying, even though most of the voices that you have heard belong to the opposition, this is not an opposition matter. And I want to appreciate and salute colleagues from the NRM who joined us when we first handled this matter. They knew there were going to be consequences. They knew they were going to be threatened, as is happening now. But they said the people they represent have told them, please Let's leave coffee alone.
And from the Uganda Media Center, the Minister for ICT and National Guidance, Chris Baryomunsi, has urged fellow legislators to engage in a peaceful debate over the future of the Uganda Coffee Development Authority, UCDA, as Parliament reconvenes tomorrow. Speaking to journalists, Baryomunsi refuted what is described as a misleading public perception that coffee farmers oppose the bill. He challenged opposition MPs to participate in constructive dialogue rather than resorting to disruptive tactics in Parliament.
For the past few weeks, the 2024 National Coffee Amendment Bill has drawn mixed feelings within the public, particularly the coffee enthusiasts, as well as plunging the parliamentary sittings into unprecedented recess upon a heated debate. Subsequently, the president took it to his socials with frequent missives, trying to subdue the perception of the bill's critics before summoning his party legislators into a retreat to ensure the success of the UCDA rationalization bid. Anticipating for a fierce showdown as they race with the bill's opponents tomorrow, Baryomunsi challenged his fellow legislators into a peaceful and gentle battle as they debate the controversial Coffee Amendment Bill 2024.
So we expect members of Parliament to come tomorrow, and please, we do not expect members of Parliament to make any attempt to disrupt Parliament, because I sit in Parliament as a member of Parliament for Chinchiz East in Kanungu, and nobody has a right to stop me from representing the people who sent me in the Parliament. And therefore I want to sound a warning to those who think that they can just make it a show by way of disrupting the Parliament, by shouting down the other members of Parliament. We advise that if you have a view, you put that view in the microphone in the Parliament for the record, but you don't have to shout. There are colleagues who think that by shouting in the Parliament and on top of their voices, then they have made a point. There is no point you are making.
In the same vein, he dismissed the allegations that the government intends to hand over the sector to the renowned investor Vinci Pinetti at the cost of the farmers.
Government has been pushing for value addition, that we process our coffee, add value to it, and then sell it at a much higher price. That's how the Pinetti issue came in, that the government goes into a strategic partnership to add value to coffee. Yes, there were those sentiments and the ill feelings, maybe because of the person of Madame Pinetti, and we recently said, okay, but the idea of building our own capacity to process coffee remains, coffee and other products, and it's good for all of us.
Baryomunsi further disputed the claims that the public, particularly those interested in the coffee sector, are against UCDA's rationalization, citing that it's cunning propagandists misleading the public's perception about the bill, and added that this shall be proved by the numbers tomorrow.
Your fears, what you hear people saying, politicians are saying all sorts of things, those are unfounded fears. There are some who fear the unknown. They think maybe there will be negative effects. There are those, and the majority in this case, who are just using this for politics. But for us, we are not very much worried. We know what is being done is in the interest of Ugandans and in the interest of all of us.
The controversial bill seeks to reform Uganda's coffee industry by abolishing the Uganda Coffee Development Authority and transferring its functions to the Ministry of Agriculture. This arises from the government's broader policy of rationalizing government agencies, aimed at streamlining government functions, eliminate redundancies, reduce costs, and enhance efficiency. Joseph Kabale, Uctv News.
Now, the Democratic Party has called on the Electoral Commission to extend the nationwide exercise for identifying and mapping persons with disabilities, PWDs, on the National Voters Register, which began on the 4th of November 2024 and will be ending on the 13th of the same month next week. During a press conference at the party's headquarters in Mengo, the party's National Secretary for PWDs, Maxensia Tebachirambule, stated that the one-week time frame is insufficient, citing numerous challenges PWDs face in participating. She has urged the Electoral Commission to consider making the exercise a continuous process to ensure all PWDs are included.
Disability on the National Voters Registration from 4th to 13th November. Not even a single resource was given to support this documentation. And this is what they are telling the Secretary Generals of the parties, that please refer to my letter sent to you, dated October. They don't even know who to address this, because if you address the Secretary General, copy in a person with disability office so that we can directly get this information. So they had written on the 18th of October on the subject matter, and they are saying please receive the press release giving details on how the activity will proceed. You are urged to disseminate this information to all your political party members for easy participation and follow-up. This is very important that our parties got this. I wonder whether the LOC ones at the local level got similar information so that they could alert the people with whom they stay within the communities to mobilize them to undertake this very important exercise. And this was written by Mr. Richard Babu Kambisha as acting secretary. And this is what the release was. Introduction. So the Electoral Commission is mandated under the Constitution of the Republic of Uganda and the Electoral Commission Act to take measures and ensure that the entire process is as inclusive as possible. So where do these people live? These people live in the community. So when you talk about inclusivity, means that local church in that community to get the information. Means that local leader in that community to get this information. And by the way, I sit on the parish disability council of Lunguja. It means that council to receive this information. By the time I came here, I talked to my chairperson and said, we have not received any communication. So anything for us without us is not for us. So maybe some information is even misdirected, because if it doesn't come to us to mobilize our people, because we know them, it's misdirected. And this is why we are saying the exercise first as still birth, even before it was birthed. Yeah? So to conduct inclusive as possible and conduct under the conditions of freedom and fairness to, among others, enable persons with disabilities to vote without any hindrance. These votes are already rigged. If the Electoral Commission cannot put in place systems just to mobilize people to vote, people without disability are going to vote for us. People without disabilities are going to stand and contest, because we say disability is not only physical. Someone will say, I don't hear well, I'm a disabled person, and they'll take up these positions. Because this information will run to someone else who is most interested in the reading and voting and getting what the disabled person will be getting. So here they go on ahead. However, the Commission has been facing challenges in ensuring their inclusive participation in elections due to lack of adequate information on the numbers of persons with disability. And today present to us the UBOS report that reduced from 6 million people to 3 million people. And still today, write a letter in October when the exercise was done earlier this year that we don't have the numbers. Simply because even the time of doing this UBOS or national registration, whatever census, did not put priority to persons with disability to go and register. And probably they did not even understand it was part of what they should do. And some of those who cannot hear maybe thought they could not even understand, could not even get this information. This is how it starts.
Thank you very much for watching UCTV News. We are going to take a break and we'll be back with more stories.
UCTV, good news for all.
You are watching UCTV, good news for all. For this and more, tune into Kasese Get Radio 100.5 in Western Region, located at the hill of the Diocese of Kasese. KGR brings you all Catholic programs and an advertising platform in all our radio shows like Good Morning Renzori, Chama Towoka, Ukute, the Business Show, Propeller, the Request Show and Sports, Evaluation, Bahinga Bakuluka, Late Night Show, and many others. Our other services include Isuzu Tipa, a Noah car, public address system, live band, Omokekera, an audio recording studio, and outside live broadcast. For more information, call 0773-597-166 or visit our website www.kasesegatradio.com. Kasese Get Radio, Omusondoria, the voice of truth.
And with the Rome reports, it's a wrap for the Tuesday edition of UCTV News. I'm Sunday Gloria Aboch. I wish you a very good evening.